usually people trail through in the first 10, 15 minutes. So we're just going to get started. And actually, the joy is you have the two of us to yourself until people
Yes.
decide to fall in. Until people pour themselves into the Zoom. But we're going to be talking today about like pricing. For more context, I'm Jade. I'm the founder of Main Hookup. We're a beauty booking platform. We help people to find hairstylists they can trust in their local area. And Khadija, do you want to introduce you?
Yes, yes. So my name is Khadija. I'm the founder and CEO of Dosso Beauty. We are the number one non-toxic, clinically tested, safer sensitive skin braiding hair brand in the world. So I'm excited to chat with you guys about braids, about hair, about pricing, and really we're here for you guys. So even if it's not directly pricing related, please feel free to come off mute if you feel comfortable. Drop in the chat any questions that you might have that you think we might be able to answer.
Yeah, so if you, like I say, if you want, you can either drop your questions in the chat. We've decided today we'll start with any questions that people came into the call with. We've got some slides. We can share all of this information with you guys, but we wanted to like basically create a bit of an open forum first and say, if you have come in here thinking, I don't know how to do this, that, and the other, you're welcome to, like Khadija said, either come off of mute and talk us through it or drop it in the chat if you want to. If not, we'll just like jump into slides and then you can ask us questions along the way in the chat. So yeah, so let us know. We'll give you a minute. Feel free to jump in the chat and drop questions in and we'll go from there. And I'm going to keep an eye on the participants to see when people call in.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Do you know, Jay, if you have the questions feature,
Ah,
like our
that's a
capability?
very that's a good question. I don't think I do.
Okay.
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. I have the premium one. So we can offline. We might be able to either add an app or just update and include the questions feature on here so that way people can also
Yeah,
um do that as well too.
yeah, that sounds like a plan. We can do that for the next run. Oh, Corin's dropped a question in the chat. So how can we price accordingly?
Hmm.
Um, do you want to
Yeah,
start with that?
yeah, I can start with it. So the basis of how you should be pricing or charging your clients for your services should always start off with you having a definite hourly rate. An hourly rate needs to be, hey, for example, I would like to make 40 USD or 40 euros per hour. And then multiplying it by how long it takes for you to complete that service. That is just the base. That's not including your cost of goods sold, which is really like all of the products, tools, and overhead that you need in order to produce the service. So if we're talking about, for example, medium knotless braids, right? For in my salon, because I own a salon and a retail store as well too. Medium knotless braids start off at 350 USD, right? That's because anywhere between 6 to 6.5 hours, that's how much it takes for for people, for my stylist to complete it, right? That is not including the actual cost of the hair, which for me, at the salon level, we charge the retail price for the packs of hair that we have so that we can make sure that we are not just charging the actual wholesale price that I would be purchasing it from, but that we're making a profit from it. So you want to make sure that the base is really starting off with your actual hourly rate, and then you add in all of the tools as well as products that you need to complete the service, which in the business world is called a cost of goods sold, right? well, that's basically the cost that you need to operate and to fulfill the actual service. Yes, you might be reusing the same amount of combs, but every single service that you're providing still need to account for that in your total price that you're selling to clients, as if you were buying a brand new comb that every single time, right? Because overhead trickles down and as well too. So you want to make sure that it's straightforward, and that you're just adding in. Think of comb, think of gel, think of
Mhm.
towel cleaning services for your towels. Think about the usage of the blow dryer and the electricity, right? All of those things go into a part of your total pricing. Hopefully that's
Yeah, and
helpful, Corinne.
we've got like, actually, I'm gonna just pull this one slide up because we do have like the hourly rate for the UK and the US. Except it doesn't want to let me go full screen. Okay, let me just, the joy of technology. Okay, so if you can see that here, when I click present, it doesn't allow me to do it without, okay, full screen. So you can see the slide that we have up, we've got like stats on what the hourly rate is in on average in the UK and the US. And the US is almost like double what it is in the UK. So you guys are getting pricing a bit better than we are. But like Khadija said, if you don't think about the fact that your work is premium and you just charge kind of like entry level rates when you're doing a really high quality service, you're already cutting yourself short, because what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a position where your business is automatically losing money. So you have to think about, okay, what is it that I need to make? What is like what's the word? Not the bare minimum. What's the break even point? And then what is the point at which I actually start to make money back? And that's what you have
Hmm.
to think about, especially when you're at the beginning. I think everybody at the beginning is like, okay, I'm gonna have to put in before I get stuff out. So, how do I work my way up to break even? And then once you're there and you know that as much is coming back to you as you're putting into the business, then it's like, okay, how do I now take this to a point that I'm making a profit? So it doesn't
Hmm.
happen overnight, but I think a lot of the times with stylists, they end up, I'm just going to stop sharing for a second, but um, they end up pricing based on how they feel versus what the numbers say, and
Yes,
also feeling a lot of unnecessary guilt.
yes,
Um, so it's kind of things like making the decision to charge what they think people can afford versus what their time is worth. um, Comparing prices to other people's, which is, again, when you're at the beginning, that's a good thing to do because you want to get ballpark. But once you've been doing it for a while and you're able to understand your like the level of the quality that you bring to the table, you should be pricing based on what you believe your time is worth.
yeah,
And then there's also just like a lot of feeling guilty about raising prices.
yes. Thank you, Corinne, for introducing yourself. I echo everything Jay just said because I I know for a fact that my stylists before they came to my salon, they were very, very leery about any pricing. I mean, one of the last stylists that came in, she's like, "You guys are pricing it way too high," and I'm like, "No, but we understand and know the background of our target audience, right?" And so that's another
Mm.
thing that a lot of stylists, they just want to get as many clients as possible. But you have to understand that everybody that has money is not always your client, right? Like if you know
Mm.
that you want a client that is willing to pay a premium price, that you can give a luxury experience to, that is going to enjoy and appreciate your work and your value, that it's going to be a different price point than you just being kind of similar to, we're West African, so Tanti Dentistry that has about 25 stylists that they're just trying to pump out five different people in one head, like at a time. The value there is time. It's not value of time. It's not value of and quality of service and quality of work, right? So like think about who your target audience is and then do the research based on that. I was able to find from the brand side of Doso Beauty some really dope analytics that are kind of crazy to me, but that help to put things into perspective when we were figuring out our pricing for our products. Because I knew I was charging too low at first. This was like 2 years ago. I knew I was charging
Mm,
too low for my product, and I decided to play around on Amazon. We're a top seller on Amazon, and Amazon actually gave me some incredible analytics. I realized and recognized that about 40% of my clients actually have a household income of $250,000 or more, as well as are college educated. Crazy.
okay.
It was crazy,
Mm,
right? And so once I saw that household income, and I'm not saying that you can have all of that specific data,
mm,
access to you, but you can ask questions to your incoming clients, not that are money worth, right? But like you can ask other insinuating questions where you can figure out what they spend their money on, what type of products they buy, when they're sitting in your chair for the first time. Oh, well, what products do you use, right? Are they using design essentials? Or are they
mm,
using really high salon rate products, right? Are they using a Paul Mitchell? Are they using the Sebastian
mm.
hairspray, right? Like, think about it from that perspective, and you can get a lot of understanding of who's sitting in your chair and what you should be charging them, besides what you think you should be charging them.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And I think, like you said, it starts with knowing your numbers and also knowing your customer, because you have to understand like what they will be prepared to spend money on. And also, if you give them a service that nobody else is giving them, if you're genuinely giving them what I believe customers want now is an experience, they want to come in and feel like they're being looked after and have an experience that they otherwise don't have. Like they don't actually really want to come in and do anything for themselves at that point. When they're in your chair, they want everything to be done. They've done everything they wanted to do at home for the past 2 months in between seeing you, if you've been braiding their hair or doing any whatever it is you're doing. So if you're able to elevate that experience and make them feel like, oh, this was worth the money, they will come back and spend the money. But it is about recognizing that it's you that has to present the value to them, and then make sure you're targeting the right people.
Mhm.
Just wanted to quickly stop and say hey to Cece. Thank you for joining.
ICC.
We've literally just gone straight into questions. We've gone straight into questions from people that are in the chat. So feel free to either drop your questions in the Zoom chat, or if you are comfortable with being on camera, you are welcome to come on camera and turn mute off and actually ask us the question. Completely up to you, no pressure. But we wanted to start with questions first, and if there's anything left in our slides afterwards, we can show some slides.
Mhm. And I actually have a question for Corinne. Feel free to drop your response in the chat. Corinne, do you feel like you are undercharging or overcharging right now your clients? And CC, you can ask as well too. Okay. You feel like you're undercharging. Is it because of the amount of time that you're taking, or is it the fatigue? Because that's another thing that like we don't talk about as much. Especially with braiding, it's such a physically demanding job and role, right? Like we know somebody can do a quick sew-in within 2 hours and they're good and they've made half the amount, with double the amount that you might make by spending 6 hours doing even more strenuous service. So, do you think it's the time that it's taking you to
Mm,
complete the service, or do you feel like it's because you are physically exhausted once you're complete?
Sorry, I just thought let me just jump on quickly instead of
Hmm.
messaging. Um, so my client base is like mainly men.
Okay.
So um,
okay.
yeah, I don't want to charge them like some crazy price. But at the same time, I do women as well, and a lot
Right.
of it is to do with them not wanting to pay the price, and um, yeah, just a lot of different things. because they feel like they can go somewhere else to get it cheaper and what it may
Yeah.
be. I'm just like,
You feel like both women and men are saying the same thing, or do you feel like more of the men are
mm,
saying or feeling like that?
mainly women, because
Okay. I feel
the
this.
men will pay the price. Like,
Yeah.
our prices are not
Oh,
crazy. Yeah, the guys will
Yeah.
just pay and just like, okay, it's the price is the price. But I feel like charging more than £200-300 for like knot braids or boho braids. They're like, oh, I can go because I'm from London. So I'm in London.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, I can go Peckham or somewhere and get it for like ninety
mm,
pounds or whatever. But I'm
Hmm.
just like, but you lot don't value that person that's standing there for X, Y, Z, just and giving them just £90.
mm,
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm just like, no, it takes a long time. And when I'm finished, I'm just like, oh my God, that was like a job within itself kind of thing. So
Yes.
yeah, there's lots of like there's lots of different reasons as to why.
I love
Um,
this.
yeah, and I just feel like people don't talk about it enough.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
They don't. So
yeah,
it's a paradox between the
mm.
male and the female client. Corinne,
yeah.
thank you so much for coming off mute and sharing
No, that's okay.
because we also I'm a numbers person. My background is in consulting.
Mm,
So I'm always looking at the data. We have about like 40%
Mm,
male customers at the Dosso Beauty Salon experience. And again,
yeah,
remember, we're a braiding hair company. So you would think like, oh yeah, like everybody's just getting medium knotless. No, our most
mm,
consistent clients are the male clients,
mm,
right? They want to pay the money. They want to make
mm,
sure that they are interested and can go to and have a one-stop shop and they're good, they're
mm,
taken care of. We're telling them about their hair. And it's unfortunate because I do feel like a lot of the female clients they do try to negotiate and do a bartering
mm,
system. This is one thing that I implemented at my salon that I would suggest looking into on your booking system. Um, we actually implemented a membership program
mm,
where that is another stream of revenue that is agnostic from, again, the breakout hourly rate that it takes for you to complete a style. Now, what you can do though is you can go in and you can say, hey, with the standard gold membership, you have priority booking, you get 4 wash and blow dries free per year. You get a complimentary trim once a quarter, and also you might get a surprise hairstyle on us or something like that. Just things that won't take too much away from the process, but will incentivize them to keep coming back because they have that membership, right? If somebody has a sense of loyalty to you and
mm,
they're paying a separate fee that is completely separate from the price that you're charging for the service, but they know that they have this membership to it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I know I have to come back. It's just like the gym, right? If you have a lifetime or Equinox membership, you're paying $300 a year for this, right? You even if you don't go 5 days a week, you can think about it like,
mm,
dang, I'm really spending a lot of money on Equinox. I need to go ahead and make my way towards the gym. I'm playing for lifetime. At least let me try to get in there once a month, right? And now you feel better
mm,
about it. But that also helps to create another stream of revenue for you that is again agnostic from the service side, but it also creates a brand loyalty to you. So something that we're also working on is actually getting a physical, and this is something that's cheap, but I'm telling you, people love it. Getting a physically printed card that looks like a debit card
mm,
that we can give to our clients that are VIPs, like, hey, show me your VIP Doso Beauty card, right? So that way they have a
mm,
sense of loyalty, they tell more people about it, and now you've made them feel like $1 million. So I think that that is something that could help you out to create another stream of revenue. But back to your point of them comparing who they can go to get, a lower price, you gotta, they're not your target audience. They're not your
yeah.
target audience. If they don't value you, your service, what you give, your artistry, you
mm,
need to pivot and like just say, you know what, it's okay to bid adieu to clients, right? Like I like you, but if you don't like me enough to just know and understand my value and my prices and that like the
mm,
cost of living is high and running
mm,
a salon is high, like if they don't get that, then they're not supposed to be there for you. So now you
yeah.
need to pivot and find the people who are willing to pay for it, right? Now, something to add that I just thought about too If the people that are telling you that, hey, I can go to so and so and so and get a cheaper price, that means that they have access to a plethora of options. Maybe a
Mm,
good idea would be
Mm,
finding people who don't have access to a plethora of other options or don't know of a bunch of other reliable salons that they're looking
mm,
for. Once you go to those different select places, for example, if you have friends that work in corporate America and they have like a employee resource group event or happy hour or something, and you know there's probably going to be about 5 or 10 Black women there who are in the executive levels or it might be in mid-level, right? Those are great communities where you get very loyal clients who have the money, who are looking for somebody who's personable that they actually like, and that they
mm,
will make sure that they book to support you versus just a catch-all of like anybody finding you from the internet and then being like, well, no, I'm just comparing these two salons to see. No, you can get a chance to gain clients that way by networking and bringing them in and then keeping them.
mm.
Does
That
that make
makes
sense?
yeah,
yeah.
and those people are also more likely to be loyal because again, when they're in that position, like those women that have those jobs, they actually just don't want the headache.
Mm,
They want things that like life is too busy, work is too busy. They already have 500 different responsibilities. So what they want is to know I can message this person, I can book an appointment, I don't have to think about anything else. It's in my calendar. All I have to do is carry myself there and turn up. So when you're dealing with that audience, they actually have the only thing they really need from you, other than to be an incredible stylist, is for you to be reliable. Those types
yeah.
of people do not like lateness and they don't like cancellations because they have a busy life. So as long as you're able to maintain that and give them what they need in terms of your reliability and be a great stylist to them, then you're going to have the people that are ready to part with the money because what you're doing is making their life easier and making it more convenient for them.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
I
Thank you
just
so
wanted to
much,
quickly
Corinne.
say hi. Oh, yeah, thank you, Corinne. Just saying hi to
Okay.
Bola and Kay who have just joined us. So, just so that everybody knows, you are welcome to drop any questions that you already have either into the chat or if you like, you are also welcome to take yourself off mute and have a chat with us. So, whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm keeping an eye on the chat so we won't miss any questions. You guys come in with your questions about pricing and we will try and answer as many of them as possible as we can in the hour. We're halfway through, so feel free to throw as many questions at us as you can.
And Jade, you cut off a little bit. So in the beginning part, but
Oh,
basically just y'all, if drop any questions, feel free to come off mute. We are doing an open forum session right now. We have some slides, but this is really great conversation. We want to know what you guys want to know from us.
yeah, while we're waiting for people to either jump on or drop questions in the chat, I know one of the things that people have said or say often is like they feel like they're undercharging, and Corinne, you said that earlier as well, and I think there's some ways that you can go about like assessing if you feel like you're doing that. And I would say something that's really, really simple is go back to your last 10 appointments and try to audit them to understand whether they were actually profitable. So take all of your kind of like the costs that you would typically have into consideration and then compare that to how much you charged and say, did I lose money? Did I break even? Or did I actually make money? And if you do that for your last 10 appointments, probably like guaranteed you're going to have an answer and you don't have to do a ton of work. That might be like an hour's worth of work, maybe, if that. But that's a really good starting point to actually understand if you're undercharging anyway.
Something else that I want to add too is from the technology and also pricing perspective as well too. Um, yes, you might be doing medium boho knotless just like the rest of the other braiders in the game. But the way that you actually write out what your service includes and how you actually describe it from a text and a
Mm,
SEO, which is basically search engine optimization. If you include words like indulge within a luxury braid experience where you can receive medium boho knotless braids that include with high premium Dosso Beauty clinically tested non-toxic braiding hair, along with Dosso Beauty's body weight boho hair that can last up to 8 weeks and also potentially have all of those nice words that sounds really, really nice. That sells it for you, right? And again, you could be providing the same service, right? But it's really how it's written. Just make sure that you guys are also thinking a little deeper, and maybe using ChatGPT as an assistant to help to make your service description feel how you want your customers to be received. You have to speak their language. You have to
mm,
speak their language. You have to speak in their tone of voice, even if it's not supernatural to you, right? You have to understand what language they speak, right? And oh, luxury. Like as soon as I say luxury, everybody walks in and they're like, this is beautiful. Like, I mean, it is, my salon is nice, but like we call it a luxury braiding salon.
mm,
We put luxury on the window. And so everybody
mm.
walks in very much excited to be here and to see the looks. So just think about that as well too.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions from Cece in the comments, so thank you for dropping those in. But Cece's asked, when you first start out on doing hair for people you've not met, what are you pricing at? And did you charge cheaper while you were finding your feet at the beginning?
That's a really good question. Um, you should be charging the people you know the same price that you charge strangers. Quite honestly. Now, if your base price, so like even if it's like, oh, I want to give you a discount. For example, one of my close friends from middle school, she's pregnant. She came in to get her labor braids. I said I would cover it for her, right? But my stylist saw that that was a $200 style, right? She saw that it was a $200 style. So she understands that when it's time for her to pay for it herself, she knows what the value of it is. So that shouldn't be agnostic. There shouldn't be different pricing. That also messes up your analytics, right? So you want to make sure you're having a standard price. If you would like to give a discount, then you separately add in a family and friends discount. Maybe it's a 10% off, maybe it's 15% off. But you want to make sure that
Mm,
for numbers purposes and also so that they understand the value of it, it makes sense. You think about it, right? If you had been for 10 years paying the same stylist $150 for a sew-in, right? And then, as every year goes along, really you should be adding 10 to $20 to your service, right? But now they're like, oh, well, I paid $150 for this service for 20 years, and now all of a sudden you're charging me 200. They're gonna feel a type of way about that, right? Because even though
mm,
you should have been charging them $200, you were just doing them a nice favor. You cannot do that, right? Because they devalue what your service is. Now they reconsider you, right? Now they're not
mm,
thinking of you and the cost of goods sold, right? All the products that it takes for you to complete the service, your overhead, the salon that you're sitting in, your personal money and budget that you need in order to operate. They're not thinking of that. They're just thinking they want to get their hair done for the price that they have been getting their hair done that you've allowed for them to slide with for a while.
mm.
So definitely make sure that like even if you're finding your footing with a new style of sorts, find a bit you still need to keep your base rate, right? Your hourly rate is that should be staying the same, right? Maybe you say again to the same point, oh, maybe we'll do a discount. If you're like not perfect at stitch braids yet, but you're like working on it
Mm,
and you want to get more clients, okay, stitch braid standard price is 150 euros, or 150 pounds, $150. For the next month, for the month of July, we're doing like a 15% off discount for
mm,
stitch braids to entice more people to come in so that way you can practice more of those stitch braids. But you don't want to like price it much lower so that way it dissuades people from coming in. Does that make sense?
yeah. I'd also say you don't want to have, if it is a one-off discount whilst you're learning, you don't want it to last too long because people even get used to the discounts, right? Then they'll be like, oh, but that discount had been running for like the past 6 months, and every time I've come in, it's been there, and then they'll miss it. Versus knowing it's like a one-time thing. Discounts might entice people, but if they're there for too long, again, they cause like disvalue to your service and to you as a stylist. It's kind of like, when you see those shops that always have sales on, and so you only go in there when you can see there's a sale on. That's what those shops do to themselves, and it's really similar. So like people they like mentally get it in their mind that they will only go to you when there is a discount because that's what they feel comfortable with. So like family and friends, cool, but don't, for new customers, try not to let discounts last too long.
Yeah. And even with family and friends, like, love y'all for real, but like, you shouldn't.
There was a second question from Cece.
Sorry. Hi, I just quickly wanted to ask something off the back of Cece's question that you just answered before you answer her next one.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I had a baby, so I kind of took time off work a bit longer than I anticipated taking off. So now I kind of feel like I'm mentally having to start again, but I was at a good place. So now I'm torn between, do I like slightly reduce my prices to like kind of get back on my feet, or kind of charge the same amount or more of now because I have a child. But yeah, I kind of feel like I'm back at the beginning, although I'm not technically. So I'm kind of struggling with that. And I need content as well. So I don't want to do hair for free and ideally not discounted, but I'm just in a whole kind of, sorry. Yeah. I'm just
No,
in
that
a
was
bit
a
of a limbo. Yeah.
no, that was a great question. Jade, I can take it off first. I have a few part two questions for you. Did you keep up with your clients while you were on maternity leave?
No.
Like, did you send them? Okay, so this is for everybody. I would absolutely send a monthly update while you are on maternity leave. Hey, here, baby A is arrived and he or she is healthy, blah, 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 so that you're still staying top of mind, right? This is still your target audience. Although you're not supposed to provide it, like you're not providing services and they know that you are out on leave, you still want to make sure that you're maintaining a good relationship with them. If you didn't, that is okay. Now that you know that you want to get back in the game, I would absolutely today, this week, schedule a email or a SMS blast saying like, hey guys, bookings for July are opening. I'm officially back. I'm in business. I can't wait to update you guys on the services that I'm providing. This is my availability, just to give them an update. You want to stay relevant with them. I would not discount your prices because you feel like you're getting back in the game. Whoever is going to book will book. Second thing that I think that could help out, people love a good phone call. So if you have your top 10 most consistent clients that love you, you love them, y'all have a great time in the chair, call them. Call them and say, hey, I just wanted to call and check in with you, give you an update. I have the baby. The baby is doing amazing. I am opening up my books, and I wanted to call my exclusive clients first to make sure that I could get you guys in the chair. I promise you, almost 60% of the people that you call, I promise, will book, and they will book for your price.
Okay, thank you. I did lose a bit of connection, but I just caught the last bit of what you said. But yeah.
Oh, sorry. So basically, the first thing I said was send a follow-up email like today or this week to your
Okay.
entire listserv, just saying, hey guys, checking back in. I had the baby. The baby is healthy. My books are opening up for July now on X, Y, and Z date so that they know that they can book you again and that you're back from maternity leave. That's the first thing. The second
Yeah.
thing is reach out to your top 10 most loyal clients that love you, that were consistent, that would pay the premium, that would give you the tip, and then you reach out to them and give them a direct phone call. That way you're catching up with them, you're telling them that you're back and that they are a VIP client with you and that you really want to make sure you get them back on the books.
Okay. Thank you.
Even if people are like, hey, I kind of already have my hair plans for the summer, it's something that I found that I had some of my staff doing too was actually calling and just saying, hey, I'm just checking in. We haven't seen you in a few weeks. I just want to check in on your hair
Mm,
journey. Like, what's your hair state looking like right now? How have you had your hair for the past 3 months since I've been out? Have you been doing your
mm,
trims? You do your treatments? Like, actually just show them that you care. Yes, we want to get them back on the books, but more people care about you caring about them, and that makes them more inclined to spend money with you.
mm. The only other thing I would add is also talk to your friends who are stylists and let them know as well. Because when they're overbooked, what they want to do is refer their clients to somebody they can trust. Like, they can't get the money because they can't take them. They've got too many people to look after. So at that point, most stylists will say, oh, you can go to my friend, she's just as good as me. Here's her number. You can book with her because I'm busy on this occasion. And you might not get like the loyal people that way, but you will get people. Oh, sorry guys, did you hear that or did that cut out for a second?
It cut out, but I think y'all got the gist of it. I think we can hear you. We can follow along.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, thank you for jumping in with that, Kay, because I think that's also a really important question to ask when people go on maternity leave. What do you do? And that, especially when you're working for yourself, that's a really important question. And I think, Khadija, your answer of like what people should do month by month is also really important because it's like a low maintenance thing, sending one email or one text message blast and then carrying on looking after yourself, looking after your little one. That's much more manageable than thinking like, oh, I have to keep on top of all these posts and all these comms. You just have to reduce it to, if you're off for a year, that's 12 messages in a year. That's
Yeah,
not a lot to keep up with. So that means you're still staying front of mind and you're not having to do too much.
yeah. And Kate, you mentioned content too. You do realize you don't need to redo anybody else's hair to put out old content, right? You can recycle all the content that you use
Mm,
beforehand and schedule it out, girl. You don't got to do nobody's hair for
I
you.
know. My friends have been saying the
Don't.
same thing, but I look at my old content and I'm just like,
Remix
but
it then, right? Like
yeah,
if
I need
you
to get
have
off my
videos
head.
that you stitch
Yeah.
together, restitch them in the
mm,
opposite way. Do like a slow-mo breakdown of like, hey, here is how I do my stitch braids, right? Like this X, Y, and Z service, boho knotless, 4 hours. Like, like you can take it and repurpose it. You probably
yeah.
created it in one way, but you still got them raw videos, girl, remix it. Don't smarter, not
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
I know, it's true. Thank you.
No, that's okay. And I'm just keeping track of the questions in the chat. So we've got another question from Cece, which is, how do I determine a genuine complaint from somebody who just wants a cheaper price?
That's a good one, CC. That's a good one because people be playing. Um, they people do play and they will play with you for real. Like, I mean, I had
Mm,
somebody came in to our salon a month ago. She rebooked twice. We don't even really allow rebookings, but we gave her grace. She rebooked
mm.
twice. She came in, she got small butt length knotless braids and did a
Ooh.
chargeback 3 days later. A chargeback.
Oh,
Yes, they be playing games.
oh,
Playing games, but it's fine because she might have been quick, but I'm quicker. So we made sure that we kept our money and that she was blocked in our system and can never book with us again. Because I don't play that. Not with my clients,
mm,
not with my stylist, not with my integrity and how much goes into every single appointment. Now, as far as a genuine complaint from somebody who wants a cheaper price, to be very honest,
mm,
and I'm glad you asked this question, CC, it is a economic downturn globally right now. Nobody has money
mm,
to frivolously just throw away, and you can tell who is holding close to their purse. If they need to hold close to their
mm,
purse, then they are not your client, and it sucks because you could really, really like them. You could really genuinely like them. But if they cannot afford you, you have to move on to the people that can, unfortunately. I'm a stylist first. So like I know that it's like, oh, I feel, but you don't overcharge. Like you wouldn't overcharge these people, right? You wouldn't overcharge them. If anything, you're trying to negotiate and battle with yourself mentally to be like, can I feed myself? Can I feed my kids? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to buy the product? You're convincing yourself of a lower price to give them. So there should be no genuine complaint about your price if you're providing them with a service that matches the price.
Mm. And I also, with people, if somebody has a genuine complaint, usually it feels right to you. So in the moment, you will be able to say, oh, actually, I wasn't my best that day, or I didn't give them the service that I know they should have gotten. Like there will be a part of you that knows that it wasn't the best day and the best experience, and you won't feel any way about giving them part of their money back because you know how much effort you put into it. Like I've had experiences with people where they've offered a refund or a partial refund before I've even said anything because they themselves have been like, you know what, I just had like a really bad day or I didn't sleep properly the day before and I know that that wasn't my best. So I'm just going to give you 20% off before I've even gotten to the till. And I think sometimes it's actually better to do it that way if you genuinely, but that has to be based on feeling. Like if you genuinely believe that you're like, actually this hasn't been up to the standard that I've usually performed at, then sometimes it's good for you to actually put your foot forward and tell them that and say, on this occasion, I already know that's happened, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a discount here. Oh, you're welcome, Cece. We've got a few more questions. People, feel free to like throw any questions that you have in the comments. We've got like 15-20 minutes left, so we're going to try and power through anything else that you've dropped in the chat. But the next one, Corinne Mensch said, do you think prices should be different if you are home-based? Should prices be different if you are a home-based stylist?
A great question. Corinne, I think that it's difficult sometimes when you're home based to really fully calculate your overhead and cost of goods sold because you live there too, right? Unless you have a separate electric bill, a separate line for everything that's in your basement or wherever your salon suite is, it's a little different to calculate it. Remember in the beginning of the call, I said that your hourly rate is just for the service provided, but then you have to calculate all of your other overhead that's on top of it that goes into the service. That one is a little difficult. That one might be lower because you're not paying a flat rate of rent somewhere, just for that space. So it might be lower, but I think the math kind of depends. It's circumstantial and it might be a little difficult to kind of calculate. But do you feel like you're charging too little? Or do you think you're charging enough for your home-based business? Or do you need, not just do you think, do you need to make more money in order for you to feel like you are comfortable? Because feelings are different than facts. So if you might be struggling to still pay some of your bills, then yes, you should be charging more. Don't discount it because you're home-based. You just got to do the math, sit down and really do the math to see how much usage you're spending on the area that you're actually working in and operating of.
Oh, sorry, we've got more questions coming through, but see, Corinne says thank you to that one. I don't have anything to add. I think you've covered all of that. I think it is hard when you're home-based, but also remember this is a skills thing. It's skills, it's your hourly rate. And I would say you want to make sure that you're charging a rate that demonstrates your value and how good you are at what you do.
Yeah.
So that's when you're thinking like value-based pricing as well.
Yeah, because I've just recently come back home, to be fair, I was in a
Ah,
barber shop.
okay.
But yeah, it didn't work out. I just felt that because they were charging 150 a week um for the
Oh,
chair rental.
150 a week. Okay.
So yeah, I just thought it was a bit too expensive,
Okay. That
and
makes sense.
yeah, the clients weren't really clienting like that. Some weeks it would be busy, some weeks are not, and I was just like, yeah, no, it's not making any sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I've come back home, but it's not permanent. I'm just trying to get my feet back on the ground
Yeah,
to
that
kind of
makes
make.
sense. I mean, when you're looking for a new space, I guess one of the big things is location, right? Because you
Yeah,
want, if that place was quiet, you're thinking it needs to be in an area where your clients can get to you easily, your existing
yeah,
clients, but then the area itself can introduce you to new clients.
yeah, exactly, exactly,
Let me
exactly.
also ask this, Corinne, is your home farther away, much farther away from where the barbershop was?
Yeah, so I live in South London.
Okay.
The barber shop was in Camden, which is northwest
Okay.
London.
Okay.
So it's maybe an
So your
hour.
clients have to travel much farther to come to you, right?
So a few of them that they were based in northwest, so they were just like, south is too far, so we don't want to travel, kind of
Okay.
thing.
So that
But
does make a little bit of difference though, right? Because now fuel for them is more that they have to pay to
mm,
come to you, as well as if they're
Mm,
doing Uber, they might have to
mm,
spend more money in order to do that. So that's just something to consider
mm,
temporarily. One thing that I could think about is just maybe giving them a smaller discount for
mm,
those clients that are still loyal to you, that still are coming,
mm,
just for the
mm.
time being for the fuel charges, just to be considerate. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they are coming to you from farther, so that does mean that they're gonna have to spend more money.
Well, quite a few
Mm.
of them, I don't think they've remained, to be fair. They just wanted to stay within the area. So,
Mm,
yeah.
Okay.
okay.
So it's like rebuilding clients again, kind of thing. That's how it feels.
Are did you put yourself on Google My Business already? Is everybody on Google My Business?
No, I don't think I've had it.
Okay,
Really
this is
quick and easy to do.
very, very simple and easy, and it actually goes to Bola's question.
Mm,
Because you guys should, number one, everybody today create a Google My Business page. Corinne, since yours is at home right now, you might not necessarily need to please don't put your actual address.
mm,
But you can put like South London, right? Like you
okay.
can put the county area.
Mm,
The reason I'm saying to do this is because when you literally Google Braiders near me, it will begin to pop up the more pages and the more you actually utilize it. So this is
okay.
completely free. But
Mm,
again, for Google listings, it's free, y'all. This is free money. This is free ways that you can find new clients. This is free ways that you can promote yourself. They have Google updates. So even if you want to, and Google posts. So if you would like to post maybe 2 or 3 times a week, like similar to how you would post on an Instagram or a TikTok, a video or a photo or any specials that you kind of have of your actual work, you can do it there. You can upload, thousands and thousands of photos of some of your past work so people can kind of see what you've done in the past when they're looking it up. So that's a great way for you to find new clientele from again SEO, search engine optimization perspective for you to be able to pop up higher and rank higher.
Yeah, I've dropped the link in the chat for anybody that hasn't got a Google My Business profile. But also one of the things, I'm not sure if any of you have used our platform Main Hookup, but ours has basically been built to be optimized for search. So every time for whenever somebody has a profile, it's like optimized for the keywords that relate to you as a stylist. So it's optimized by location, also by like basically your specialism. So if you're a braider, it will be optimized for like braider in Wimbledon or braider in Mitcham or braider in whatever part of London that you're in. So that's another way to get like basically anybody that's searching for you or searching for a service, make sure everything is optimized for Google as well. So that's an extra one. I am aware we have 6 or 7 minutes left, so let's try and power through some more of the questions.
This was amazing though, y'all. Like we have slides and everything for real. I promise, like a good day. I think they'll still like be able to look at it afterwards, right, Jade?
Yeah,
Like we can send it out so y'all can
we
do
can
it on
send
your
the
own
link.
time. But this has been amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been great to hear everybody's questions. We'll try and like, I think there's like 2 or 3 more, so we'll try and shoot through those. Bola has asked, what do you do when you're moving countries or cities? How do you build your clientele in the new location? Do you start with low prices?
Great question. The first part of the question, Google My Business. That way, locally, you can pop up and appear for people who are looking for you. Making sure that you're on it with that too, like really being consistent. The more, like Google basically optimizes, the more links, the more posts, the more everything you have that's directly connected to your booking site, to your Google My Business page, it will constantly rank you higher and higher. So doing that would be great. The second part is really doing your research on like what the market rate is for everything, and what other salons are kind of basing your price about the market rate. So if I'm based in Philadelphia in the US, and here most luxury salons are charging $300 and more for medium knotless, boho knotless, versus if I was in New York City where there's 100 braid shops and like nobody can charge over $200. I have to be kind of comparable, right? Right. Unless I'm giving a complete different, utterly service that they can't get at any of the other salons, right? If I include wash, blow dry, steam treatment, X, Y, and Z, like if you make yourself very different from them, now you get to, play around with the numbers a little bit more. But I would definitely do your research on wherever you're moving to see what other braiders or salons are charging in that area and then make your prices competitive.
Okay, I'm going to jump us along to the last. You're welcome, Bola, but there's one more question that we've got from CC, and we might have to wrap up there because I think then we'll run out of time. But do you have advice for someone looking to rent a chair in a salon for the first time?
Yes. I would first, before you go to a salon that you think might be nice, I would first observe and maybe even go there to get yourself styled. If you know, or even if you don't know anybody in the salon, I would test it out and see what the energy is like there. Number one, of the other stylists. The second thing is as far as you feeling comfortable as a client. Like you always want to think about it from that perspective, right? Like you know your clients best. So if you're about to have them come into this new environment, you want to make sure that it's a great environment for them. As far as booth rent or renting a chair, it also needs to make sense number wise for you. If you know that you have a steady set of 10 clients per week that you normally were doing at your previous salon, and that you'll be able to make whatever the booth rent is or the standard booth rent is, without them providing you more clients, then sure, like you can kind of negotiate that. But if you are a new stylist who does not have a book of business and you're really pretty much relying on their book of business, understand that they are going to charge you more, especially if they're providing products, access to their actual clients. You have to pay more for that, right? So if it's a split commission, for one of my stylists, we have a 60-40 deal, right? She didn't bring any clients here. She doesn't provide any products. She comes, she shows up, she braids, she goes home, right? But she gets 60%, I get 40%. For another stylist I have, she pays a flat rate and then she gets all of her commission plus tips, but she also has a book of business. So she's bringing me money, right? So understand what your negotiating power is and then kind of take it from there.
Yeah, that's great advice. I don't have anything to add to that. um, Other than like the only thing I would say is also look at location. That's a big thing because you want to make sure that you're in a good location that has good footfall, of the right people. That's what you want. Is you could have a salon that's in a great, like in a busy location, but your people are not there, and that's not going to do you any good. So again, scope out the area, spend a bit of time in the area, and then see if you can get a feel for it and a feel for the type of people that are likely to walk in. But that is actually time. That's
Yes,
bang
perfect
on,
timing.
literally bang on the hour. So yeah, thank you to everybody that has turned up, listened, asked questions. It's been really great. We will send the deck that we put together but didn't run through out out to all of you, so you can have a look at that. And we'll also send a recording of this so that if you need to like watch it back, play it back, and you'll see everything from the beginning. So if you missed some of it, you'll be able to see everything and hear everything in the recording. We'll shoot that out to you guys in the next few days as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But thank you to everybody that came through tonight. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, y'all. We appreciate you guys and join us next month as well too. Keep the questions coming, y'all.
Yeah, we'll let everybody know what the next topic is in the next few weeks. But remember, these are every month, last Monday of the month. So yeah, we'll hopefully see more of you again in July.